Hello, I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 552 for Israel 24/6 TV. Today is the 1st of May 2008, and it is also, for a few remaining moments here in Israel, the 27th of the Jewish month of Nisan 5768. The 27th of Nisan is Yom HaShoah for Jews in particular, and I hope for the world in general. This is the day we Jews remember our dead who perished at the hands of the Nazi beast in World War II. If you have ever known a survivor of the Holocaust, perhaps you may or may not have been able to tell that they were ever hurt. Remember that each person has a different threshold for enduring terror, pain, and cruelty, and a different timetable for recovering from that terror, pain, and cruelty. Some of us remember the 6 million who perished in the Nazi perpetration of the Holocaust. Each and every time we hear a door close, or we hear a lock shut, or each and every time we hear the sound of a train leaving its station. If you would like to try to fathom exactly how many 6 million is, try calculating that unthinkable number the next time you buy something, a single item, and then factor that by 6 million. Look at the price tag and multiply that by 6 million. Even if that amount were paid, it would not bring back the 6 million who perished under the Nazi regime. The world in general, and we Jews in particular, have tried to avoid war and cruelty since that horrible beast of a human being, Adolf Hitler, tried to achieve his final solution in the extermination of the Jewish people. But still and yet, even today, sometimes as a sovereign nation, we Jews are compelled by our enemies' actions to bear arms and protect ourselves, our country, and our borders. In my estimation, it is a pity and a shame that the post-war world has been trained by many to ignore the rules of war, the rules of defeat, and the rules of victory. Later next week, I hope to give you a segment on the word Palestine. Truly, if our Arab neighbors here in the Middle East understood the awful cost they would pay if the rules of defeat were enforced today upon them as they were enforced on post-war Germany, then there would be far less terrorism in the Middle East today, and certainly far less terrorism in the rest of the world. Until next week, I invite you to contemplate what would have happened in post-war Germany if the vanquished German citizens had insisted on perpetrating acts of terror against their conquerors. Hence, even on Yom HaShoah, the Israel Defense Force carried out a military operation and was successful in that operation. Earlier today, it was announced that one of the terror operatives responsible for the kidnapping of IDF soldier Gilad Shalit was targeted and hit. The IDF spokesperson had this to report concerning that maneuver, and I quote, "In a joint IDF and ISA operation in Rafah, the IDF targeted and identified hitting Nafez Manzour, a Hamas terror operative who was involved in terror attacks against Israel. Manzour was involved, amongst other attacks, in the capture of Gilad Shalit, in the killing of 2 IDF soldiers, and in the injuring of an additional soldier in the infiltration attack in Kerem Shalom on July 2006. Manzour was also a member of the infrastructure that executed the suicide bombing attack in Kerem Shalom crossing on Passover this year. He was also involved in planning numerous attacks by the Hamas terror organization and in firing rockets at Israeli communities and posts in the western Negev." End quote. And that concludes this segment on Yom HaShoah and the actions of the sovereign state of Israel in its war on terrorists and terrorism. I'm Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from Room 52 for Israel 24/6 TV. And remember, as we Jews say to one another today, Anachnu Khan. Thank you, and Shalom. May the Almighty help this present inhabited world.